All right, so lazy Sundays in the fall for us mean a lot of smoking on the smoker that we have on our deck. Today is no different. It's a lazy Sunday. It's overcast. We're just kind of I'm still in my workout gear from this morning. But while everything is on the smoker, you get hungry and it's lunchtime. It's about 1:30. So I'm gonna whip up some steak and sriracha lettuce wraps from SageRootNutrition.com. I'm gonna whip those up really quick and have them just now until our pork shoulder's done on the smoker. So what I've done is I've got about a half of an onion chopped. I've got one of each, a red and a green bell pepper chopped. Again, I chop them pretty big. You can choose to chop them smaller if you'd like. And then I've got 3 cloves of garlic. So chopped all this up. I'm gonna add this to my pan that's already preheating with some oil in it on the stove. I'm gonna add all this with my steak and I'm gonna put it in the pan and get it. All right, I've got my vegetables going in my pot here and I'm gonna let them cook just for a couple minutes, just to soften just a bit before I add that steak, because that steak's not gonna take very long. So here's what I've got for steak. You can use, whatever kind of cut of steak that you want. We buy a cow every year and we have a couple packages cut up into stew meat. And I don't make a whole lot of stew. I make roast in the wintertime, but I don't make a whole lot of stew. But there's really nothing else that you can do with those cuts of meat. So what I do with the stew is I tend to experiment or try something different. So I'm gonna use the stew meat for this recipe instead of like actual strips of steak that the recipe calls for, which you can get on SageRootNutrition.com. So I'm letting these veggies cook just a minute or two and I'm gonna grab my steak. And again, I have big chunks of vegetables, so they take an extra minute or two to really soften up. If you cut them smaller, yours will soften up a lot quicker. So I've got my stew meat here that I'm gonna add, and I just dump it all right on in there. Make sure you get the plastic out. And then I'll mix all of that in. And it just kind of depends. Sometimes there's big chunks of it, sometimes there's little chunks. But I'm gonna mix all this up, and then what I'm gonna do, it seems like I just thought it out this morning, so. All right, so I'm gonna let all this cook, obviously, until it's cooked all the way through. And then I'm also gonna add some of my sauce right now. So the recipe online calls for Sriracha. You can use Sriracha. I don't have Sriracha, so I'm gonna use some hot sauce. And those are gonna be hot. And then it also calls for some soy sauce. Now, you can use coconut aminos, which is a paleo version, which will make this a paleo version, which is what's online. I just happen to have soy sauce, and then I'm gonna add some sesame sauce to that as well, or sesame oil. And again, I'm gonna just crank this baby up and let all of this cook until all my meat is cooked through, all my veggies are cooked. And then I'm gonna toss this in some iceberg big lettuce and have a big lettuce wrap. You can also make a big salad out of this if you wanted to, however you wanted to do it. Just get all that cooking and get it all in. All right, so my meat mixture is done. I've got it all sitting here, and now I'm gonna assemble my lettuce wrap. So I took off some iceberg lettuce, and then I'm just gonna scoop as much of this as you want in each one. Make sure you get lots of veggies in there. Add that. Add a couple of green onions to the top. And that's it. Roll up the sides and you've got a little lettuce wrap ready to go. So check it out, the recipe on SageRootNutrition.com, and let me know what you think.